Let's take a look now at some figures released today by the Australian Bureau of Statistics, a snapshot basically of wealth and earnings across the country. And it shows, well, a few different things. Income growth, not surprisingly, is slowing. Now, you see here the surge is up to 2007, 2008, so that's these levels here. Before then, we were going quite at a steady rate, some steady increases. Let's focus, though, on the mean. This sounds like a bit of a mouthful, do bear with me. The mean weekly equivalised disposable income, that's this line here, this red line, and it means it's adjusted to take into account how many people are in homes, first of all, and also what they have to spend after tax and other everyday expenses such as electricity. So this is basically what you have in your pocket to spend each day. And you'll notice this red line. When it comes up to here, some pretty good growth from here. Well, it's basically flatlining out to 2017, 2018. How much did it go up? Well, in the decade to 2017, 2018, we're talking about it going up $44 only, up to $1,062. In comparison, the 4 years leading up to that period, it went up $220. So a huge increase in those 4 years, tiny increase in the 10 years since. Let's take a look as well as what's called the Gini coefficient. This is a measurement used for inequality. A couple of things to look at here. Remember, the closer you get to zero, so the closer to here, the more equal a society is, according to this. For income, so this is income from 1997 to 2017-18. We see this bounce around a bit. You can see it going up, down, and here as well. It's not a steady up or a steady down, so things aren't getting more or less unequal in that regard. It's not going above 0.35 for this blue line here, and that takes into account income tax and who lives in property. So again, it's a better measurement. But when you go to the wealth Gini coefficient, well, we're seeing this go up towards the later years there. What's the difference? Well, wealth, of course, takes into account someone's total assets after debt. So whilst income is bouncing around, we're not getting big differences there. This is going higher. Remember, this factors in home ownership. This is by far the biggest wealth for Australians. We're talking about $500,000 in your average home. That's how much wealth people have there. That is going quite significantly up there in that last little part there. And that doesn't take into account the last year or so of lower house prices, so that's not in there. Overall net wealth, and this is where we're hitting a magic figure there. You can see this very latest year, $1 million. Mean household net worth, $1 million. So we've hit that magic number again. We've had the housing slump that might have undone that statistic in the past year, but as far as we know right now, that has ticked up to that magic number, up 6% in real terms since 2015-16. Total assets, we should mention, $1.2 million, about $183,000 in debt to take away from that. But, you know, if you want to hear about the lucky country, if you like, that's why, $1 million average net wealth. And when we look at what wealth is made up of, this is interesting as well. We're seeing, as I mentioned there, owner-occupied dwellings, so the house you live in, $500,000 there. We've got other financial assets. We're talking shares and other property, investment properties mainly, of around the $200,000 mark. This is the one that's growing here, superannuation. So that's at $200,000 and something that will continue to grow when you consider the super guarantee increasing in future years. So that's one to keep an eye on in future years. But still, the house you live in, the big factor. Add all these together. The smallest one there will be, you know, something like a car that you own at home. $1 million. So, yes, it is a lucky country. We'll look at that later on this hour as well with a guest from the ABS about what it all means and where it might go into the future.